It is an amanat. It is a trust. If it's not carried properly, Allah will raise another group of people who is going to carry this better than us. History is teaching us that. If we cannot carry this trust properly, those ones that are our enemies, those ones that we look down on, maybe they're going to carry it better than us. History is showing it over and over again. Arabs could not carry it properly. It's given to the Ajams. Ajams could not carry it properly. Power is given to the ones that one generation they were running around to destroy Islam. They destroyed Baghdad. They destroyed everywhere. But in one generation, they embrace Islam. And then they run for the sake of Allah, spreading Islam all over the world again. So, if we cannot carry it, Allah is going to give it to someone else who can. Don't think that Islam, the way that it is now, is because of you and me. It is not. Islam will always have those ones who are going to protect it. Those ones who are beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 21st century man is too proud to think he's done something for the sake of Allah and for the sake of Islam. No, we haven't. We haven't done anything. Those ones before us, they've done everything. They set all the foundation. What we've done is putting nothing but more seeds of confusion, more dissension, more breaking up, and more fitna. We have 1 billion Muslims. You can have 2 billion Muslims. You can have 5 billion Muslims. You can have 7 billion Muslims. But if Muslims, they are not united under one Khalifa, what good is that? They're just going to be so many of them who are heedless and headless, and they're going to be controlled by the evil sources inside and outside. That's it. That time there's no power. Islam came not as 1 billion. Islam came not as 1 million. Islam came not as 1,000. It came with one man, Holy Prophet ﷺ. A handful of people, 313 people in the Battle of Badr against 4,000. That Holy Prophet ﷺ is not like today's Muslims, who are filled of pride and envy and arrogance. What was the prayer he made before the Battle of Badr? He did not say, well, I'm a prophet. We're standing in the way of truth, so we're going to win. Don't worry about it. Everyone's going to... No, he did not. He's praying before the battle, says, Ya Rabbi, if you don't... He was crying to his Lord. Understand, Habibullah. He's saying, Ya Rabbi, if you do not grant us victory today, there will not be one single person there who is going to say Allah, who is going to remember you. If we are all destroyed, this will be the end of remembering you. This will be the end of Islam. So, Islam is a gift. Allah ni'matul Islam. And our faith, it is an honor. Sharaf al-Iman. The faith, it is an honor. The faith has to give us honor. If the faith is making you to feel shame, if the faith is making you to feel embarrassed, if the faith is making you to feel weak, check your faith. It is not a faith. That faith has been interfered with by our ego and by shaitan, nothing else. The faith has to bring us honor. That faith has to bring us, when those without faith are going to look at us, they're going to say, this one is following something and someone great. And the greatest one is the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Muslims now, they know how to say, because they're so influenced by Christianity, yeah, Jesus came, he's mild and he's meek and he's put on the cross. No, he's not. And he's not so mild and meek too. And don't worry, his second coming, he's not going to come with a book. He's not going to come with a rose. He's going to come with a sword. And Muslims are so influenced by that, they're saying, oh, Holy Prophet is so mild and meek too. Subhanallah. Huh? They're saying, he's so soft-spoken. He's saying, he's helping in the kitchen. He's saying, he's mending his... Of course he did all of that. But Holy Prophet ﷺ, he was also a general. He was also an emperor without a title. He was also able to put and transform the men's dragons, their egos, from nafsu amara to nafsu mutma'in. That is not done with just saying, as you like, your majesties. Whatever you say, soft-spoken, nice. No, it is not. Muslims have lost that understanding. They have lost that honor too. So, Islam becomes an embarrassment to them. Islam became something that they should be ashamed of. We've come to that point where Muslims, They want to, if anything, to hide their Islamic identity so that the outside world can look at them and they can say, you know what, you're one of us, we're one of you. Don't be scared of us, please. Why don't you like me? You must like me. That is the sharaf of Iman? No, it is not. There is a way. There is a way of doing it. There is a way that, yes, this world, we must live in it. Yes, we must make this world better for Muslims and non-Muslims, yes. But we must not lose our identity. Inshallah Rahman, that identity only comes with the sunnah of the Rasulullah ﷺ, nothing else. And the sunnah of the Rasulullah ﷺ, it is not a personal practice. It is not a practice of a community. It is a practice of the whole world. It is a practice of a civilization. We spoke before. Yes, there were Muslims in Bosnia. Yes, there were Muslims in Indonesia. Yes, there were Muslims in Africa. There were Muslims everywhere. Before the Western culture come in and completely took over, they were living Islam. They were living the sunnah of the Rasulullah. There was no longer any Bosnian, Indian, Chinese. Yes, slightly they may have different variations, but they were all living according to the sunnah. But once you remove that and you say, now you have the Western traditions coming, and the biggest trick, they say Western tradition doesn't mean Christian, it just means neutral. No, it is not. It is never neutral. It is never neutral. When Muslims are going to wake up to this? We've lost our head. We've lost a Khalifa. That's why we lost the ability to think and to reason properly and to look, to put two and two together. We're not even speaking in the language. That is the language of Islam. Yeah, we put here. English is not the language of Islam. Understand? Arabic, yes. Persian, yes, it's become Muslim. Yes. So many other languages. Urdu, we have. So many other languages. Even our own native language. That Islam has been there and is set up for 1,000 years, 1,400 years, 800 years, 500 years, 300 years, but it has entered and has firm foundations. Islam may enter into so many different areas now, but what kind of foundations are we looking at? What kind of foundations we're looking at when Muslims all over the world, they say, no, 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 no. Islam doesn't mean lifestyle. Islam means just pray 5 times a day, fast 1 month in a year, go to Hajj whenever you feel like it. If you want to get away and have a vacation and go shopping, Hajj has become that. It's no longer a pilgrimage. So, no, we've lost that. It is time to bring it back, inshallah Rahman. We live in this world, definitely. We work, definitely. We go to school, definitely. We do everything, definitely, but we have to balance it. We have to know, we have to put Allah and His Prophet first into our hearts, instead of putting other things to say, we have to please them first. You know what? Otherwise, they're going to say we are terrorists. What do you fear? Don't you understand? They're in their short minds. They fear us. What are we fearing? We have to fear Allah. We cannot say we have to behave in this way so that our neighbors, they're going to like us. That means you don't understand Islam. Islam brought mercy. Islam brought intelligence. Islam brought light to believers and to unbelievers. Every society, every country, every nation, every culture that Islam has come in and has taken root and has changed the system, it became better. It never became worse. Look at the Arabs before Islam came. What did they achieve? Nothing. They were jahil. They were under the boots of the Persians and the Christians and other ones. Islam came, and in short while, less than 100 years, they spread everywhere. Not only the religion, but the new idea, a new way of thinking, new way of freedom. Yes, freedom from your ego, freedom from the dunya. Look at every culture that Islam came. Look at India. Look at China. Yes, Islam came to China. The Chinese, they're still very stubborn. It's okay. It's going to change too. They were using the Muslims. Muslims started to become weak. Muslims started to also then take on the lifestyle of those ones. Islam is completely different lifestyle. Nobody can say now. Look at India, for example. There were sultans living there. Right? You don't hear them say, well, Islam is one thing, but the Hindu culture is different. I can have Hindu culture, but I pray to Allah. No, it is one and the same. You have, what kind of culture? Every culture that is Islam in it. Every culture. But you have to filter it. You have to clean it up. Yes, there is Islam in this Western culture too, maybe. You have to clean it up. It doesn't mean we're going to swallow everything. You cannot say now, you never hear any Indian Muslim Pakistani included, we don't really accept Pakistan. We accept India, Hind, because Prophet is saying Hind. Yes? Sahabi Kiram is saying Hind. It will come together, inshallah, in that way. So, you don't see Indian Muslims, for example, they're praying, they're worshipping to Allah, and they have a statue of Shiva. No. And they don't say, oh, no, this is only culture. We're not worshipping, it's only culture, decoration. Do you have that? No, you don't have that. But there are certain other Muslim cultures out there that they say, no, our religion is Islam, but we can have this, we can have that. But it is not Islamic, it doesn't matter, it's okay. Whether you're going to put Sphinx or pyramid, or whether you're going to put a statue, it is still the same. Why are you going back to your Jahiliyyah understanding? Why are you going back to Jahiliyyah culture? Islam came and it brought you up away from Jahiliyyah to light, to understanding. Why are you not concentrating on that? So, yes, inshallah Rahman. The key is the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and the key is Khilafat, because the Khilafat is representing Holy Prophet. If there's no Khalifa, there is no representation of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Islam then became weak, it became individual, it became a personal practice. It is no longer a force that is moving this world. Look to see, since the time that Khilafah fell, the Khilafat fell, what happened to the Muslim nations? What happened to this whole world? Are we moving towards more and more freedom and enlightenment? Or are we moving more and more towards destruction and darkness and sorrow? You don't have to be a genius to know this answer. Inshallah Rahman. Our purpose is to say in the presence of our Lord and our Holy Prophet ﷺ, in the presence of the awliya Allah, to say that we are not, although we live in this world, we live in this country, we live in this nation, we are not agreeing and we are not liking the way that this world is moving, because this way that this world is moving is towards complete destruction. We cannot change it, Ya Rabbi. Our hands are tied, our tongues are tied, but our hearts cannot be tied. We cannot say, we cannot change anything, so leave it like that. We have to embrace it, we have to assimilate. No. Our hearts must say, we don't accept this, Ya Rabbi, but we are weak. Send someone who is going to come. Send a heavenly person who is going to come to fix this mess, Ya Rabbi. Because this cannot continue. Because Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying, if you see something wrong, change with your hands. If you cannot, change it with your tongue, meaning to speak, to say something. If you cannot, at least change it in your heart. We have to check our hearts. Tariqat is to check our hearts. To be with a Shaykh is to check our hearts over and over and over again. Who is in your heart? What is in your heart? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? For whom are you doing this? You're checking it, then that's a time when other things that's going to come to our hearts, our hearts will clean it up and it will send. It will send out and we'll be able to do what Allah and His Prophet ﷺ is saying that we must continue. Holy Prophet came 1400 years ago, yes. But the work is continuing. And our work, inshallah, it will continue. And we are sitting and we are waiting. We are preparing ourselves for the time of Mahdi alayhi salam to arrive. For us to continue, inshallah Rahman, that time we will do the work. We are not good for nothing. We are not worth for nothing. We know that. We are weak. Our faith cannot hold anything. But at least, Ya Rabbi, we have that firm intention. And we are understanding that we are not living in the time of Hazrat Mahdi yet. There's so many ones who are confused, so many ones who are wrong, evil ideas. They say, no, now is the time of Jesus. Now is the time of Mahdi. Don't you see peace and everything? Which planet are you living on? The world is getting worse. But for us to understand, we're living in the time of Dajjal. Once we understand that we're living in the time of Dajjal, then that time you can pull yourself from safety and you'll know how to conduct yourself, you'll know how to balance it, to have the faith. Otherwise, the faith will become so hot in your hands like a burning fire, you're just going to drop it that time. But Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying in the Akhir Zaman, your faith, yes, it's going to be hard to hold your faith. It'll be like burning coals, but don't drop it. Change it from hand to hand to hand. Holy associations like this, yes, you're changing it from hand to hand to hand. You cannot. You know this better than me. We were in that situation before. You're living, it gets difficult, it gets hard, because everywhere that we're living now is taking the faith instead of putting it. But once you come and you run away from those associations into holy associations like this. You feel your faith now getting topped up. Your batteries getting filled. And we can go out then, that time. Another week is draining. You come back. You fill it up again. You change it from hand to hand, but you don't drop it. Have our hearts connected, inshallah rahman, to the awliya Allah, to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. That time is going to be easier. Otherwise, it is impossible. Because now Islam comes with heavenly support. Islam is not because of a couple of scholars here and there. Islam is not because a couple of people, they are traders and they're buying and they're selling, they just happen to spread Islam. No. Islam came with heavenly. Islam is still here with the heavenly support. And they're heavenly people. And we have to be with them to understand what Islam is going to bring to this world, what is our role in it, and for us to have the faith and to be able to continue with the faith. Otherwise, we are going to be in complete confusion, thinking that we have Islam, but we've just made up our own ideas, our own religion that time. It is a very dangerous time that we're living in. This is the time of Dajjal. This is the time of fitna. Pull ourselves away from that. Live simply. Don't go around looking for so much knowledge to read, because there's poison everywhere. There's poison in the books. The books, they are written for profit. They are written for business. They're not written for the sake of Allah. So many words, they are there. Ayats and hadiths. They are chopped up. They are cut. They are poison. And Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying in the Akhir Zaman, don't run around looking for that. Whatever small knowledge, that little knowledge that you have, take it. Practice it. Live simple life. That is important. Because if you don't know which knowledge is for what, which advice is for what, you're going to get confused. Because the Quran and the Hadith is speaking from pre-eternity until post-eternity. It's speaking for every man, for every nation. It's speaking to kings and it's speaking to beggars and paupers. Where are we? Which part of the Quran are we supposed to take to apply to our lives? That is the time when you need someone who is representing that walking Quran. That person who has sacrificed his self and his ego for the sake of Allah, with the character of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Those are the awliya Allah, that they are holding on tightly and they are guiding people, not to the fire, but to the Jannah, to the gardens, to our original home. Be careful. Find someone who is going to guide you. Yes, you may say, how do I know? How do I know this one is right or wrong? Sit with him for a while. It's okay. Any guide that you're going to find right now, sit. If you are sincere, Allah will remove that one if that one is not a good one for you, and will find a better one for you. But don't say, well, I'm not going to do it, I'd rather be myself, because the one who is out of the main group, out of the flock, that's where the wolves and the hyenas, they're going to attack. But if you're with the Jama'at, no, it is not going to come to that situation. Be with those ones who are going to remind you of Allah and His Prophet. Be with those ones who are going to remind you of your nafs, of your egos. What enemies it is that's standing in front of you, stopping you from understanding and worshipping and knowing Allah. Don't run around to be those ones who are only going to praise you. If He praises you, they want something from you. But find someone who's going to say, I'm not asking anything from you. They ask you no fee. That is ayat from Surah Yasin. They're already in the way of safety. And they are going to clean you. They're going to wash you up. They are going to wash you up. Tariqatul Aliyah, Tariqatul Naqshbandiyatul Aliyah, we are concentrating on that. Not to make so much zikr, have secret salawats here and there, to see things, to have visions. No, all of that, especially for now, is a trick and it is a trap. For now, we have to have the nur of Allah, to have the vision of Allah, to have the capability to understand what is truth and what is untruth, what is haq and what is batil. That you will know when you meet someone who is going to tell you what your nafs, what your evil inside of you is, how they are tricking you, how to remove those veils. Then that time you'll be able to see what is haq and what is batil, because in these times of Dajjal, they've changed the signs. Haq is batil and batil is haq. Truth is falsehood and falsehood is truth. Black is white and white is black. Muslims are going to come and say, what are you guys doing here? Why are you sitting around here saying Allah, Allah, Allah? Isn't it? You guys are crazy. Go out there and enjoy yourselves. But if they go out there and they see a football or soccer and they're jumping up and down cheering their teams, it's okay. But don't do that for your Prophet. Don't do that for Allah. They've turned everything to be upside down. Are we understanding? They say, don't put pictures of saints. But you see, the children who are, or themselves, they put pictures of themselves on the wall to look at themselves. Black is white and white is black. Find those who are able to teach you about yourself. That time you're going to know your Lord. Once you know your Lord, you'll be able to practice Him. So much confusion everywhere. It's understandable. So many people are confused. But you know what? People, they want to be confused too. So many times, they don't want to come out from that confusion. They say, no, we'd rather be like this. Nothing but the ego is tricking them. It is not how much prayers that you make. It is not how much hajj that you make. The prayers that you make is supposed to be a miraj, but all you see is your carpet. You're saying Allahu Akbar, but you say it so proudly, Allahu Akbar. You're really saying Annahu Akbar. I am the greatest. You're not standing with the notion that you're standing in front of with the idea, with the reality, you're standing in front of your Creator. You're standing like this, with full of pride. That is not worship. Or your heart is circling around everywhere. That is not worship. You're supposed to be in the divine presence, but it's circling around everywhere. The Hajj has become a vacation. The Hajj has become a shopping. The Hajj has become people posing in front of the Hajj to take pictures, to send it to Facebook and Twitter. It's become things like that. Now, Muslims are getting upset. Oh, Paris Hilton is opening a store. Oh, Kardashian opening a store. Who cares? They've been destroying the tombs of the Sahaba Kiram and the prophets and the holy people there that is holding on, that is giving barakat for decades. Muslims not saying anything. Of course they're going to put there, because the Hajj now has turned to become what it was in the first Jahiliyyah, a business. First Jahiliyyah, the Hajj was a business, wasn't it? Tribes were coming to trade. It has become that. But for 1400 years, the Hajj was not that. They could easily make it that, but they didn't. They didn't try to make everything to be super technology, everything to be super logistically, everything is supposed to be perfect. No, it's not supposed. It's a pilgrimage, it is a different. Hajj, it is different. You're not supposed to be comfortable there. It's supposed to remind you of Akhirat, not dunya. You're not supposed to go there under a luxury tent, having tea and every food that you are in, and after that to be worshipping Allah. That is not sunnat. That is not logical. That is not even common sense. That is nothing but ego. Hajj is not to go up to a 5-star hotel, 3-star hotel, 1-star hotel, to be standing there, opening your window, and the Kaaba is Sharif. It is at your feet. And you're praying, thinking that you are so holy. No. So, Muslims have lost the direction. Nations, they have lost the direction. They have lost the compass. Because why? They took away the Khalifa. They took away those ones representing Islam. And they're putting other different role models. Other different role models is saying, make it like us. Make the Mecca and Medina to be like Times Square. Make it to be like LA. Because we're looking at those areas. We're not looking at what Holy Prophet brought and he has maintained for 1300 years. Inshallah Rahman, these days will end. We are praying for it to end. We're praying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring the Sultan soon to clean up the mess. It is not going to get cleaned up by a couple of organizations, okay? A couple of politicians. No, it is not. The mess, it is so systemic now. You need a heavenly person, a heavenly power to clean it up. Otherwise, the way that we are going, more and more disaster is going to come to this Muslim nation. May Allah protect us and wake us up for the sake of our Shaykh. Al-Fatiha.